Welcome back to another episode of Wondering Wednesday. And as you can see, I am still in Florida. It's about 90 degrees and you can hear all the air conditioners, but we are having a blast. But I just wanted to check in with you guys because I've been getting a lot of questions about how do I get around Key West when I'm in town. And it's not about losing your cool if you can't find a parking spot. And Key West is only 4 miles by 2 miles wide. And so it's a small size island. And you know what? Getting around it isn't that bad. What's your go-to way of getting around Key West? Do you bike? Do you walk? Do you get a scooter? Tell me. Drop it in the comments. So first, my favorite way of getting around Key West is walking. It's your best friend when you're walking through Old Town. It's flat. There aren't any hills. I think the highest point in Key West is 16 feet above sea level. So you're only going to go up 16 feet. And you know what? You get to wander through neighborhoods. You get to check out all of those historic markers we talk about. And you know what? It's just a fun way to just be able to pop in and pop out of some of those really cool boutiques and stop in at a bar and all of that. And maybe even check out and see some chickens and some roosters and maybe catch a cat or two. Walking around Old Town is absolutely the perfect way to get around there. It's close, it's condensed, you really aren't too far from anything as you are centrally located. But if you want to have a guided tour, be sure to check out some of our walking tours over at FunInKeyWest.com. You can book them. So there's a food tour, there's a history tour, there's ghost tours, and it gives you a different perspective as you walk around Key West because you'll be walking with a local. You get to pick their brain. You get to say, hey, where should I go for dinner? Where should I go for an evening cocktail? And they'll give you all of the inside scoops. Here's a bonus tip. Wear those comfy shoes. If flip-flops are comfy for you, wear those. If tennis shoes are more your speed, wear those. Wear what's comfortable because you want to be sure that you are comfortable as you walk around town. Another way, and we love doing this in Key West, is biking around Key West. You can rent a bike or you can bring down your own, but rent a bike, rent a beach cruiser, rent something that's fun, that has a basket on it that lets you go shopping. I just think that's fun. You can bike around Old Town, you can bike out to Whitehead Street and go out on the pier for sunrise. We bike around the island and have a nice little pathway and trail that we follow. So we love doing that. And it's a nice way to start off your morning. You can rent from Island Bicycles, We Cycle, Eaton Bikes. They're all over there. And if you're staying at a local place, sometimes they also have bikes that you can just pick up and rent. Or some of these places will deliver if they don't have a bike available for you. Make sure that your lights are on at night because you don't want to be stopped. And no riding on the sidewalks on Duval Street. You can ride the sidewalks everywhere else, but not on Duval Street. And be sure to lock up that bike because I'm telling you, bikes are a precious commodity in Key West, and you don't want to have to explain to the person you rented it from that it's gone. So be sure to lock it up. If you're looking for something a little different, and biking isn't your thing, and you don't want to be walking, check out public transportation. It's not that bad. So you have the Duval Loop, and that's free, and that means it's fabulous. It runs every 15, 30 minutes, and it's, I think, 16, 18 stops around Old Town. Go on the app and on the city website. It'll show you where the bus is and the stops, but it is free. It's air conditioned. It's a great way to explore some of the areas outside of Old Town and get you sitting down in some air conditioning and gives your feet a little bit of a break. There's a new thing out there right now it's called Key West Rides, and this is offered through the city of Key West, and it's on-demand bus service. So you download the app. It's for Android and Apple, and it has certain stops. It's not like an Uber where you can just be picked up and dropped off wherever you want. There are certain places that you can be picked up and then dropped off, but be sure to check out that. Again, that one you will pay for it, so you can either do it through the app, or, and I think they have Key West bus tokens as well. Another way to get around Key West, and we talk about this, are taxis and rideshare. You have your traditional taxis, those are available, and their fares are based on zones most of the time. So when you step outside of the Key West International Airport, you will have the option to just pick up a taxi, and you'll pay by the zone. And usually on the window outside of that, that'll tell you how much that is. You're probably 99% unlikely going to be able to hail a taxi when you're walking around Old Town. So don't do that. Call ahead for whatever taxi service you are. When you use a taxi, if they have a card and are available throughout your stay, make a friend. They'll come pick you up. Uber and Lyft are also fully operating in Key West. So if that is what you normally use, you will be able to use Uber and Lyft. Cars. I'm going to talk about cars. And your first thought when you bring a car to Key West is, why did I do this? If you're flying into Key West, don't rent a car unless you're staying over in Newtown, or you're staying someplace that has a really good parking deal, because parking is expensive, it's hard to come by, and it's usually not conveniently located where you are staying. And it can be absolutely a nightmare, especially in Old Town. If you do get lucky and find a parking spot, my suggestion is park it and leave it. Along Duval and about a block or two off of Duval, those are paid spots, but you go a little bit farther off of Duval and those will be free parking. Be sure not to park in residential sections that are marked for residential, because they will have a parking permit and they will have you towed. But you can park for free if you can find one, and I'm telling you, they're not very far, usually not very close to where you're staying. If you do drive down the overseas highway, just find one of the parking garages or a parking spot, and like I said, just leave it. If you want to scoot around in and check out Old Town, Midtown, Newtown, and just go on a scenic tour, and it's just going to be for the day, think about renting one of those really cool electric cars or a golf cart. It's a great way to get around. It's not practical because they are also hard to park. So unless you're just doing some sightseeing and just going to take it around for a couple of hours to sightsee, they are just as difficult to park as a car. It's a great way for families just to cruise around and check out Key West if that's the way you want to go. Remember, you have to follow the traffic laws as regular cars, so be sure and pay attention to those. We did talk about this. You can get mopeds and scooters. My word advice here, proceed with caution. Are they a romantic idea and a fun way to explore Key West? You bet. But it could be a bandaged vacation if you're not very careful. Helmets are not required by law, but I'm going to tell you, they are highly recommended because you only get one head and you really don't want to hit it on anything. I also recommend helmets if you are bike riding. But the scooters are fast and they're dangerous if you're not experienced. Drive smart, no wheelies going down Duval. If you're unsure about it, don't do it. A fun thing to do, it can be pricey, but a fun thing to do is a pedicab. It's laid back, go for a couple of blocks, just let somebody else pedal, tell you stories. But it can add up quickly, a couple of bucks a minute. So be sure that you're paying attention to how they're pricing it and what that cost is going to be and how far you're going to go. Like I said, pedicab is great for a short trip and somebody else is doing the pedaling and you get to talk to somebody. If you are staying at one of the larger hotels, sometimes they do have a hotel shuttle. So these are usually offered out in Newtown because it's not a convenient walk. As a matter of fact, it's a very long walk. So if you're staying out in Newtown, most of those hotels do offer a hotel shuttle so that you can pick those up. And they usually go to Old Town, the airport, and the beaches. Know their schedule, know where their drop-off points are, know where their pickup points are, so that you're not trying to figure it out and get lost. So here, most of the time, especially in Old Town, most of the places that you're going to want to check out are within a 15-minute walk of each other. So you go slow, take it all in. you're not going to miss much. Just stroll along. You're not in a hurry. You're on island time. Enjoy it. Have fun. Those speed limits are strictly enforced, and drinking and driving, that is a big no-no. And don't drink and drive and get on a bike or a moped or a golf cart or any of that you don't want to spend your vacation doing that. Watch out for those chickens and those roosters, because they are protected. Seriously, they are protected, and they don't care about your golf cart, they don't care about your moped, they don't care about your bike. But the citizens of Key West do care about their roosters and their chickens. So the best way to get around Key West: walk, bike, or the Duval Loop are my top 3 choices. How do you get around Key West? How do you enjoy it? A lot of people just stay in Old Town for just the obvious reasons that I just laid out, that it's just a walkable distance. It doesn't take very far to get from here to there, and it's just convenient. There are tons of guides over at FunInKeyWest.com. You can grab our free happy hour. You can sign up to be on our book club. And you know what? If you have some other suggestions, you guys send me the most amazing suggestions. And you know what? Probably the first time I'll give you credit. Probably by the second or third time, I'm going to take credit for it. But you guys send me such great suggestions. So send them my way. I'll use them, I'll incorporate them, add them to the site, add them to these lives. And, be sure to check out our podcast. So if you can't catch us here on Facebook all the time, we have a podcast, and we're over on YouTube. So I am Michele with Fun in Key West. I am so glad that you stopped in for another episode of Wandering Wednesday. You guys have a great one, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.